before it used to be Lapoint that I owned alone in Morocco. So we always say that was the first Lapoint. Well, the story began in 2006 in Ericeira, where I used to work for another surf camp. I was bartender at night and working for a surf camp during the day. And I met Sebastian as one of the guests.
I had a snowboard friend from back in the days who said, yeah, you should go to Ericeira. It's a fantastic place.
My brother is in Portugal. We should go down. You want to go? It's like in 2 days. And I was like, Seb was already there and he already met Grillo. So I sort of arrived right into one more party and it just kept on going and going and going and going and like a good time from the get-go.
We talked, and at that time I already wanted to do a surf camp. Sebastian said he could find a lot of guests, and on that time I said, yeah. A lot of people say that all the time.
Instead of being 2 weeks, we ended up being 6 weeks.
And we went party, we had a lot of fun.
I remember that last surf session too, where it was like in the end of the trip, and it was perfect. Like it was so glassy. For us, it became very clear that we didn't really want to go home.
We really want to do this, and I really want to do this and be down here and live and surf and have a good time all the time.
So we found a house in Ericeira, we started the camp, and it was really nice summer.
I marketed in Lapoint in Norway and Sweden, and I think we had around 200 guests the first year. And yeah, I mean, everyone was helping out.
The first summer I was more hanging out in the garage, but they kept asking my advice on this and this and this and this, and they just wanted me to help more and more. And yeah, pretty soon I was all into.
It was a different kind of camp. It was really nice. We spent all day at the beach. We went to dinner with the guests in the restaurant. So
I started Surf Academy the year before Lapoint started, and then I ran into Sebastian. I joined Lapoint. Somehow we ended up on a flight to Morocco.
And then in the winter time, we start going to Morocco, having a camp there as well, because I've been spending many winters in Morocco before that. So I was doing some transport on my car with friends, and we would spend 10 days, go back, and I was doing that every month. I said, okay, enough. I have to rent a house and they will come meet me and they pay for the house, that's it. So that was my concept of surf camp. On that time I just wanted to pay for the rent. Sometimes we couldn't afford to pay the rent, I had to sell some boards, or it was no internet on that time, or phones. I didn't have a phone, so I was going to Agadir, that was quite far, to the cyber cafe, trying to see my messenger. On that time I would get texts from my friends like, I want to join you, I have a group. I was like, oh fuck, you wanted to come last week, I missed this one. The main spot where we had the house, it was in Anchorpoint, and they call it Lapoint. I didn't want to call a French name, but I wanted to give a name to these trips and to the house, so that's why I was like Lapoint. And then we talked, when Sebastian, we started the camps together, we were like, yeah, let's keep the name, it's a cool name, why not? But let's put it together. So it was Lapoint, one word.
So when I was 15 years old, I went to a surf trip in Morocco with my coach at the time. Luckily, I met Grillo. My life changed pretty much. So we had like a good connection, I think, as a bigger brother with younger brother. I like to call him more like a father figure, but he doesn't like that because it makes him sound quite old. And then one thing took to the other. I was helping as an assistant, then I was working as a surf instructor, and then I started working as head coach in Morocco and in Portugal. Then I came to Sri Lanka also, and it's been a beautiful 16 years of my life. I remember in Morocco of having 40 guests to take to the beach, and we didn't have cars, we didn't have trailers. So I remember of being with Papu with a small Peugeot, like a red car that you could only fit 2 people, and putting 14 boards inside, 14 boards on the top, and me on the top of the car because we didn't have strap, and Papu telling me, just grab onto the boards, we have to make it to the beach and we have to take the boards to the beach. Still remember as a kid, poor Grillo was doing pretty much everything, surf teaching, party.
I just want to be at the beach and surf a lot, because the whole point was for me to surf. But Sebastian was really good on marketing, and that was good because we had the perfect combination. I like to be at the houses and at the beach. He liked to fill up the houses.
There was no departments in Lapoint. Everyone was just doing pretty much a bit of everything.
Yeah, there's no room to stay, so people were sleeping in the garage. That was basically like having friends over. So it felt very natural that it was kind of like a group effort to make it work. I guess they also saw that these guys don't know what they're doing, so either we help out or there's not any dinner.
So I think everyone was surprised when it started to grow, like it did in 2010, 2011.
One of the biggest surf camp companies in the world at the moment, and to have 11, 10 destinations. So it was super beautiful to see that happening while growing in the company.
And I'm just really proud of having, I mean, these great people in our team. Without them, we would never be able to be where we're at today. We have pulled through, I mean, volcano ashes, terror attacks. People
got a little bit afraid to go to Morocco, and then it was flooding in Sri Lanka, and then we came into COVID,
which was crazy. It was, I mean, the toughest time in our lives. It was a nightmare.
Like, I remember during the lockdown in Portugal, I just took my kids and we went skating in the bowl in Ericeira. Everything was closed, so there was no guests there. I was just remembering we were skating there and the sun was coming down, and I just felt like, wow, I'm not really ready to let it go yet.
So I'm really proud that we have made it, and we're still running.
Which I think it brought the team together.
Family, let's call it like that. The four of us, we are a perfect family because we are always try to listen to each other. Either it's Göran who really wants to do something and we don't agree, but in the end we will do it because we respect him and we want him to be happy. And I feel that they do that with me, we do that with Sebastian, Peter. That's why it works so good.
You always have stressful memories that after a while they become funny memories, but at that moment they were not funny. At that moment you thought you wanted to cry.
I'm always the one that, yeah, let's do it, let's push it, and we solve it after.
I think the thing I learned the most was sacrificing, to sacrifice myself towards the team. And it's not about me, it's about the team.
The lifestyle and the values, that is why people love it.
You don't have to be perfect. It's okay to be late. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be yourself. Like, I always like hearing the stories about the connections that were made at the camps. Whether it's staff, many of the staff have longtime friends and, you know, met their boyfriends or husbands or girlfriends while working. So I think that, and also between guests. And I hear it all the time. Yeah, I'm still in contact with the guy I met, 7 years ago in Bali. Or
Lapoint started with the idea of taking people out of their normal lives, away from their daily jobs, and just to give them something else for a week. I feel that a lot of guests, sometimes they change when they come to Lapoint, or sometimes they are not really outgoing, and then when they come to Lapoint, especially guests that have been coming to Lapoint more than twice, they feel they are respected, they feel they can talk, they feel that they have they are worth it. Because sometimes some of those people, when they are back home, they are just one more person. But when they come to Lapoint, they feel they are part of the family. They feel they are important. In the lesson, when the coach comes to them, hey, no worries, I'm here with you. When we cheer for them after they caught the wave, when you say, that was a really good wave, how was your day? Are you enjoying the stay? I think they feel really rewarded. And that's why we have people coming. I don't know, I have people that they've been coming for Lapoint for 10 years. I have people that come to all the Lapoints because they feel that it's like a label and they are related to that label. But in Lapoint, I think you feel free to be your true self.
People really do sort of connect with each other in a way that makes, it's quite rare, I would say, that being with someone for 7 days or that you can create such a strong bond.